to begin this with a question to Joe Biden because Stacey Abrams is here because Joe Biden invited Stacey Abrams to be here. And so, Mr. Vice President, do you have an announcement to make? Is this an audition? Is there, what is the reason that you decided it's time for me to get on TV with Stacey Abrams?
Well, because Stacey Abrams has done more to deal with the fair vote and making sure there is a fair vote than anybody. And she has a great capacity to explain things and to lay out exactly why it's going to be so critically important in this election. This president's already said when they put in the stimulus package the Congress first passed money to provide for mail-in ballots, he already said, I'm not for that. If we do that, no Republican will ever win, or something to that effect. He's made it clear this is the guy who said he wants to defund the post office from being able to deliver ballots. I mean, so Stacey knows what she's doing, and she's an incredibly capable person.
So you just saw there Stacey Abrams clearly thinking that she was about to get the VP pick. How did this happen, though? I mean, what do you think? Like, did she know? Did she know this? Like, wasn't going to be the VP pick? Did she really think this? Like, what the hell just happened there?
Yeah, it just seems so odd to me that you would go into a situation like this and it wouldn't be planned out ahead of time to say, this is where we're making the big announcement. It's sort of strains that I could even believe it. But clearly from the clip, that's what the news people, that's what she thought was going on.
And I almost feel bad for her. Like, I'm not like, look, guys, I'm not like a Stacey Abrams person. I'm not like, cheering for her to get VP or anything like that. But I saw that. I was like, oh, my heart broke a little bit, even though I don't necessarily like her. I was like, this is really sad. And Lawrence O'Donnell even set it up. Like, he thought that was the way it was going to go. So something was miscommunicated or something was intentionally communicated. I mean, there's I guess, like a debate whether or not she was told that this, told by someone that this was, what was going to happen, or if it was just total confusion. But I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know what to think about it beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she's not really running for anything now, right? So she probably doesn't have a lot of, maybe as many people around her, like cluing her into what's going on. But it just seems like the going into this situation, it all would have been planned. So
I'm not sure. Now, the question, though, I guess that comes up is, does this mean that she's definitely not getting the VP pick in the long run? Or it was just, she thought she was getting it right then, and then she didn't get it. Like, was she, like, in other words, was that a realization for her that she's never going to get the VP? Or was this a realization, oh, man, like, I'm not getting it now? What's your take on that?
I don't know. I mean, it's too hard to look too far in the future. Like next election, so much changes, you never know what's going to happen. But if she was coming to the realization she's not going to get it this time around, it would certainly explain what we saw in the video. But it seems like you'd go into that with I don't know, it seems like she'd have a better sense of how to respond either way, right? That's a pretty big assumption to make if you think you're going into things. I kind of think she's not going to be the VP pick. I feel like the Biden campaign is going to be very strategic about who they pick, and I don't know that she really brings a lot of strategy to that position. That she really brings much. I don't know that I don't feel like she's going to win over the progressives, right? Which could be one argument. Right. I don't feel like that's probably going to be the case. So I don't know what she brings. You probably can't bank on her winning Georgia for you. So I guess if I had to bet money, I would say she's probably wasn't going to be the VP pick, even before this clip that we looked at.
Right, because there's that thought. Well, okay, she really locks in the African American vote. First of all, that's not a given. And second of all, I mean, where's the African American vote going to go? But third of all, Kamala Harris can also do that, right? But you could argue that, well, she might she might play better in Georgia, which can help. But you got to remember, what was her last time in Georgia? Well, she lost the governor's race to Kemp. Now, granted, she probably would have won if the election was fair. Like, I completely concede that, the election was messed up the way that, Kemp rigged it. He definitely, he was playing dirty, right? Like, she would have been very likely governor, but it's not clear what she really brings. She's not a sitting representative anymore. And I don't know. Now, when it comes to progressives, it's actually a little bit interesting because there are some interesting progressive down ballot races in the state of Georgia, which, having Stacey Abrams on might help. For instance, Nabila Islam running in, I think it's Georgia's 7th congressional district. Very likely having a name like Stacey Abrams on probably would increase voter turnout in the state of Georgia. So at least it would make Georgia more competitive, and it could end up helping a candidate like Nabila. So possibly it could help progressives down ballot, but the question of whether or not it would actually lock in progressives overall, not particularly clear. I don't think that it would, especially nationally, and I don't think that it's like something which would motivate progressives to the polls as much as it would motivate other Democrats in the state of Georgia explicitly to go out to vote, and then they'd probably vote for the Democrat Nabila, because Nabila, by the way, she is actually challenging to flip the seat from red to blue, and also Hillary Clinton won that district last time around in the presidential run, so it's a very competitive district anyway, and Democrats are targeting it in anyway. So it's not clear that Stacey Abrams would even help with that.
Yeah, and there's so many different strategic points that you could go after in picking your VP. And I know that Biden has said that he's going to pick a black female to be his VP, but I don't know that I trust Biden far enough.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that he just said that it was just a woman. Did he come out and say that it was going to be a black woman as well?
I thought he said that for both the Supreme Court and the VP.
Yeah,
I thought that was during one of the debates.
I think he said that he was going to pick a black woman for the Supreme Court, but I don't know about VP. But regardless, we'll just put that on. We'll just put that on hold. But it definitely does seem like the pick. The forced, like, oh well, he's gonna pick a woman does make, I think, the choices a little bit more interesting, because it sort of narrows down the names a little bit, but it does become a bit more contentious when it starts like, okay, well, what other demographic is Joe Biden's VP pick going to be able to help lock up? Because you look, for instance, at Kamala Harris, like, she seems to be someone that the media really loves. I mean, the media also loves Stacey Abrams, but Kamala Harris coming from California, like, California is already a lock, right? Like, California is not going red.
Right.
And so it's not quite clear what state Kamala Harris locks in, and who she really like assists in, and who is that really helping, which is why a lot of people are talking about Gretchen Whitmer, being able to lock in, kind of the Rust Belt, lock in Michigan maybe. But then you have, well, she's not a woman of color.
Right. And actually, the point about you made about Kamala Harris, I feel like that might even more suggest that she could end up being the pick, because it seems like one of the big considerations they have right now is if you pick someone who's a current politician, who's likely to replace that person. And if you pick someone from California, they're getting replaced with a Democrat.
That's a really good
some
point.
People that you pick from the Senate, they're going to get possibly, their temporary person will be picked by the governor or whoever, and they could pick a Republican to fill that spot, at least in the short term.
I mean, some states have rules against that where it has to be of the same party and you can't flip party. Now, the interesting thing is that people are using that as an argument against picking Elizabeth Warren for the VP. They're saying, well, you have a Republican governor in Massachusetts. What's he going to do? He's going to pick a Republican. Now, the response to that, which you might be able to make if you're someone who thinks that Elizabeth Warren should be the VP pick, it's like, well, you have a supermajority in the state legislature for Massachusetts, so you can change the rules to make it so that then it could only pick a Democrat to replace the Democrat. So it does seem like a bit of a cop out, a bit of an an excuse to not choose Elizabeth Warren. We know, for instance, that a number of banks came out, a number of people on Wall Street came out saying that they wouldn't be comfortable with an Elizabeth Warren pick because, even though a number of progressives aren't necessarily happy with her, the banks sure aren't.
Right.
And, of course, when it comes to Stacey Abrams, taking it back to Stacey Abrams, the banks absolutely love. I mean, it seems like between Stacey Abrams and Kamala Harris, they absolutely love her. I was looking at, actually, I'm looking at right now, like there's a new profile out from the New York Times about Stacey Abrams. How Stacey Abrams is making politics a little bit less fake. I don't know about that, but but that's the kind of media love which she's really getting. And so it seems, though, given how much media love she's really getting, why is it the case that she was not in the loop about this clip? Who gave her the wrong information? How did she get this wrong information? I have no idea. I mean, it's definitely embarrassing, completely embarrassing for something like that to happen. And then you you imagine being her, like seeing all this news about people making fun of her for thinking this. Be really humiliating. So anyway, that's the
And
conversation.
I haven't seen
Oh,
any kind of I haven't seen any kind of like a response from her, right? Has she followed up
oh
with
yeah,
this or
yeah,
said
yeah.
anything
No,
about it?
I haven't seen anything. I mean, if to be fair, if I were her, I wouldn't make a response either, because that's like, like that's just embarrassing. Like you come out with a response like, "Oh no, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking this other thing," and then everybody would be making fun of her at that point. Because no, girl, we
Yeah.
knew what you were thinking. We knew what you were thinking. We saw that. We saw that. So, I mean, I don't blame her for not coming out with a response. I don't blame her for that, but. Anyway, that's the conversation, you guys. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Thanks, Chris, for hopping in on this one. We'll have your information down in the description for everyone to check out, and see you all next time around.